So why do they stare? Why do they stare? Just my personal opinion, but I don't think it's normally from a place of malice, ill will, or bad intentions. I really think it is primarily just out of, one, they notice something different about you, and two, they can't put their finger on it. And so you can kind of see that look of perplexion, or what I like to explain is just a huge question mark above their head. And that's how rare you are, is because they know something special about you, but they can't figure it out. They can't put their finger on it. So yesterday I went in the dog park, and there was 3 different women that just couldn't take their eyes off me. And they don't try to conceal it. It's not like they try to sneak sideways looks. They just look square at you. And it goes on for minutes and minutes and minutes. So I was kind of bothered, because it was like I was in the middle of a triangle of these 3 people just staring at me so hard. But then one of them had 2 kids, and I walk around the dog park, and she went over to the corner of the dog park that's shady that I like to go to. So I went up to her. She had 2 kids, so I started talking about, they had their soccer outfits on, and I used to play AYSO, and I've coached soccer. I love soccer. I'm not particularly proud of it, because it's cooler to say I love football, right? I do love baseball. I played a lot of baseball and coached a lot of baseball. But anyways, so I started talking to them about, hey, have you kids ever had a hat trick? You know, it's 3 goals in one game. And I used to play right wing, so I was able to get a hat trick. But anyways, so I'm talking to the kids, and she starts smiling and whatever. Then we start talking about like sports and how it's so good for their discipline and so on and so forth. So, she was nice. And then there's the other one that was staring the hardest and the longest. And when I was leaving, I smiled at her. I went up to her, and she didn't smile back or anything. She felt kind of uncomfortable around me at first, but then I was like, you know what? I get a lot of people staring at me. If you had to put your finger on it and say, why do you think people would stare at me so much? What do you think, what reason could you come up with? And she starts laughing, and she's just like, I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm like, oh, because I try to figure it out, and I just can't make heads or tails out of it. And she just laughed and then said goodbye and left with her dog. But so she was fairly pleasant. She probably on some level knew that I was saying, you're staring at me for like now 20 minutes straight. My goodness. Jeez. And then the third woman I never approached. But, I don't think in the 2 I approached there was any malice towards me. It's just this, they notice that there's something about you, and they can't figure it out. And what it is, it's obviously the Holy Spirit. And I always like to say there's a volume of like 0 to 10. And some people have 10, some people have 0 most people have 0 Holy Spirit. But then some people can be a confessed Christian and maybe pray once a week, or say grace over a meal once a week, and read the Bible maybe once a year. And they might have the volume of the Holy Spirit of 1 or 2. And then other people, if you really lean into that relationship, and you were given by no merit of your own, but you were given a certain heart from birth, from the good Lord, and you have a good heart posture, and so many are called, few are chosen. So you were called and you responded. And then that you can get that volume churned up at a 7, 8, 9, possibly even a 10. But then you'd be putting yourself at the same level as like the saints that could levitate and bilocate and read souls. And so I would never say I'm at a 10 personally. But hey, if you're at a 7, you got the Holy Spirit churned up more than 99.99% of this population. So they see there's something different and they can't figure it out. So I don't know what other videos say on why we get stared at, but that's just from my personal experience. And even animals, will just love you. Right now I had someone talking to me for like 20 minutes because he was so impressed on how much his dog liked me and the other dogs liked me. You'll even see birds and squirrels like trusting you more than others and coming really, really close. So there's my 2 cents. God bless. Have a good day.